It's training camp season, and today we're looking at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And Jalen McMillan has been going off. He might be that surprise player, that surprise rookie that goes ham this year. We're going to take a look at the drills. We're going to watch him catch some balls and everything else. But you need to click that subscribe button right now because we're covering these highlights every day of these rookies, your favorite players, guys from your favorite team. Tampa Bay fans, I covered Baker Mayfield a few days ago. Check that in the archives. I'll cover them again here soon, I promise you. But some of these guys are going to be on your fantasy team. You're going to want to know if they're good. This is a good way to see. Click that button. Stop missing out. Jalen McMillan, 1.5 minute of clips. A wide receiver that has been barely talked about after the draft. We got 1.5 minute of clips. That is another indicator of him doing well in camp. And not just like 1v1 drills or just basic drills, but all different types from 11 versus 11s, the basic drills and stuff. It's just all different types, just making plays, building a rapport with Baker Mayfield, just looking good. Another thing is, in press conferences, the coaching staff, who are very blunt, but yet will hold the cards close to their chest a lot of times, they say good things about him. And I'm not surprised when you really go back, look at his draft profile. And honestly, when you think about his collegiate profile overall, he's just making play after play, getting open. And back in the day, 2-3 years ago, a lot of draft aficionados were calling his name out because he was good and they're expecting him to come out for the draft. We stayed a little bit longer. We went in round 3 still. And he is a very good, technical, nuanced route runner who can get downfield. We got good speed. He really has the total package to make it in the league. He really does. And there was a lot of talk about more 3 wide receiver sets, Godwin going to the slot. I mean, someone has to be on the outside. I said this a million times, and talking about Jalen McMillan, and it makes sense. There's other wide receivers to compete with. I don't see him stepping back. I see him earning a role and running with it. And if anything happens with the 2 veteran wide receivers, he is stepping up. I know a lot of you people are wondering about Trey Palmer, who's been following me. I haven't heard much about him. He's got 4.3 speed, deep threat. Probably will get pushed downfield. But they spent a 3rd round pick on him for a reason. He's got a skill set where he can compete at all phases. Good hands, good in traffic. He could be the guy that surprises everybody. But the secret's out now. The secret's out. So an underdog, I expect his draft slot in drafts to go up a little bit. I expect him to hold more value there as a speculative asset, but he's winning. Left and right, he is winning. I talk about him one day in a video about how he's winning on the field, and then I got to talk about him the next day because he won some more. And then the next day. It's been like this all week for the last week and a half. Like, I've been talking about him. One guy mentioned him in the comments, and I was like, yeah, Jalen McMillan. There's a lot of wide receivers. It's hard to hit on all of them. And then all of a sudden, bam, Jalen McMillan just splashing everywhere. It's like making plays is like playing in a puddle. And you're just splashing in that puddle all day long. And that's what Jalen McMillan's doing. Just splashing you with plays left and right at training camp. That's what he's doing right now. And a lot of people look at training camp highlights as you shouldn't look at them. They mean nothing. Well, the thing is, if you're a degenerate like me and looked at all of them, you start to see the trends. And I understand the trends with some of these players. Like, when we look at like a Quentin Johnson last year, when you look at his highlights, you'll see the flaws. But on top of that, like, how is he winning? Like, not always in 11 versus 11s, like this. Not always in the team drills. A lot of his was on, like, the basic drills, just him and the quarterback or the guy throwing the ball, like a coach or something. Or maybe it's one-on-one and he just won that play. Look. We're in 7-on-7s, 11-on-11s. Still drills. Like, we're seeing a little bit of everything. And we got a big montage of plays, of different stuff. and then the coaching staff. And we know the coaching staff, they like to hold the cards close to their chest, and they're talking good things. I may have to bring that up in a video. I like to go to press conferences with you guys. I think this is a player you need to pay attention to. I think Tampa Bay struck gold here. I think that, if anything, they got themselves a good wide receiver that can contribute, but I think they could have more. I think Baker Mayfield's underrated when you look at quarterbacks in the National Football League. He's got a lot of confidence. Moxie pushes it downfield. He's very aggressive. This is great for a wide receiver like this. Like, this is probably the perfect spot for him. And he went under the radar because you look at Godwin and Mike Evans, you're like, how are those targets going to go his way? It just happens sometimes. And maybe it's not enough for him to splash initially. But football's football. Crazy stuff happens. And sometimes the next man up just takes over and he's ready for it. And that could happen. But when you identify talent, and he's a talent. He's a talent. He is going to be a scary proposition in the National Football League. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Make sure to hit that subscribe button on the way out. One thing for watching. Catch you on the next video.